What's a theremin? Here, I'll show you what a theremin is. How do you not know what a theremin is? This is a theremin. I'm sure you've seen it before.
The theremin is an electronic musical instrument. It was invented in 1919 by a Russian physicist, Leon Theremin. Besides its unusual appearance, the theremin is also unique in that it's played without being touched. The theremin typically consists of a box with two metal antennas which create an electromagnetic field. The musician stands in front of the instrument and moves his hands in the proximity of the two antennas, which forms a capacitor between his hands and the antennas. The capacitance of the electromagnetic field varies by the distance between the player and the instrument. The upright antenna controls the pitch. When the right hand approaches the antenna, the pitch gets higher. When the hand moves away from it, the pitch gets lower again. Small, rapid movements of the right hand can create vibrato. The loop antenna controls the volume. Approaching the antenna makes the volume softer, so the left hand is responsible for dynamics and articulation.
Anyway, it's like hella nerdy, but very cool at the same time. But yeah, it's the same principle that theremin applied to create the thing, which is a microphone bug without any electronics whatsoever. I'm just like, I'm already talking about all this shit. I mean, but yeah, here it is, the thing, the listening device. And that's the replica of the Great Seal, which had the Soviet bugging device on it. And it's on display at the NSA's National Cryptologic Museum. It was a gift. It was a gift given to the by the Soviet Union to Averell Harriman, the United States ambassador to the Soviet Union, on August 4th, 1945. Because it was passive, needing electromagnetic energy from an outside source to become energized and activate. It is considered a predecessor to radio frequency identification technology. It's the same kind of technology as the RFID chip. Yeah, Russian Boy Scouts gifted it to him, and these fucking clowns placed it prominently, thinking, well, we scanned it, there's no electronics in it. Now, do you respect crypto? Yes, the Netflix show is what I've been watching about it. In this world, wherever there is light, there are also shadows, as long as the concept of winners exist. Oh, Jesus Christ, why am I reading a fucking Madara Uchiha copy pasta? The U.S. went, that's so impressive, I'm not even mad. I wonder how they found it out. Oh, they discovered it accidentally by a British radio operator by the British Embassy. Bro, they discovered it in 1951, by the way. By a British radio operator at the British Embassy who overheard American conversations in an open radio Soviet Air Force radio traffic channel as the Soviets were beaming radio waves at the ambassador's office. An American State Department employee was then able to reproduce the results using an untuned wideband receiver with a simple diode detector demodulator, similar to some field strength meters. Like, they wouldn't have even known. It was there from 1945 to 1951, dude. How nuts. That's so sick. Anyway. No, the US government didn't place the bug. The Russians did. The Soviet did. Americans are so stupid. You say that, but like, they're very good at fucking... They are very, very good at spycraft as well. Like, they've done some psychotic shit too. Anyway, we briefly touched on the executive actions here. They're aimed at combating discriminatory housing practices, reforming the prison system, respecting the sovereignty of tribal governments, and fighting xenophobia against Asian Americans, especially in the light of the COVID pandemic. Before I continue further with this, it's top of the hour every hour, okay? It's top of the hour every hour, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and NBs. which means it's time for a 60-second ad break, the first of today. So I'm about to run that 60-second ad break right now. All right, then. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you no longer want to see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 with a subscription or for free with your Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Here's the fucking 1-minute ad now. There it is. You just talk about how Biden ends racism, yet you engage in patophobia? Sigh, be better, Hasuni. No. Yeah, we'll watch the new Johnny Harris as well later. We'll welcome Johnny Harris back into our homes. Don't worry about a thing, brother. Anyway, one of the funniest takes so far that I've heard on the racial equity and all this other stuff, like all these other executive actions that Joseph Robinette is signing, has been the lack of self-awareness displayed by conservatives who are saying this is incredibly authoritarian in nature. And it's like, dog, the only reason why Biden can do this is because Donald Trump did it before, and because Obama utilized it or expanded on it a little bit more than the predecessor. But Donald Trump really fucking, knocked it out of the park with executive orders. And that's why it's so easy to fucking sign him away and overturn him. That's it. Biden has banned for-profit prisons at the federal level, but that jurisdiction should cover ICE facilities, and it's a big fucking industry earner for the private for-profit prison industry, and yet it does not, from what we understand. So that is fucking bullshit. So it's nowhere near enough. Remember that the private prisons have increased their, like, private prisons have had a judge's, oh shit, this is fresh off the presses as well. A judge apparently barred Biden from enforcing the 100-day deportation ban. Now that America is raising the minimum wage to $15, when will you raise your mod wage to $1/hour? Every time I remember the separated immigrant kids, I cry. Yeah, well, don't worry. You won't actually remember the immigrant kids in cages. Especially because we are not talking about the immigrant kids in cages anymore, regardless of the fact that it's still happening.
Nor does he claim to be.
Not only
his presence,
not only is the immigration thing that we something that I wanted to talk about, but apparently Senator Rand Paul is the only person who is refusing to fucking wear a mask in the Senate impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump right now in the swearing-in ceremony. Rand Paul is refusing to wear a mask, ladies and gentlemen.
Under the precedents of the Senate regarding constitutional points of order.
But this is ongoing. We're going to get back to that in a little bit when there's like when there's more shit going on.
Question to the Senate. Is the point of order well taken?
Mr. President.
The Majority Leader.
The theory that the impeachment of a former official is unconstitutional is flat out wrong by every frame of analysis. Constitutional context, historical practice, precedent, and basic common sense. It's been completely debunked by constitutional scholars from all across the political spectrum. Now, the junior senator from Kentucky read one clause from the Constitution about the Senate's impeachment powers. He left out another from Article 3, Section 2, quote, "Judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal from office and disqualification."
They're saying it's unconstitutional, and that's fucking bullshit, by the way. Just because something hasn't happened doesn't mean it's unconstitutional. It's literally not unconstitutional.
Intended impeachment to merely be a vehicle to remove sitting officials from their office, they would not have included that additional provision, disqualification from future office.
Yeah, it's total bullshit.
The Constitution also...
I hate this sort of stuff. I hate this, like, precedent. Oh, it has happened before? Okay, well, then there you go. I didn't even fucking know that. But it's literally in the Constitution. It is not unconstitutional. And Republicans are just saying, oh, it has happened, just not to a president. Okay, sorry. Well, I'm learning as well today. But political science major, KW, I'm sorry that I didn't know that someone who wasn't a fucking a seated representative was impeached in the past, dude. I'm sorry that the fucking insanely obscure trivia fucking Andy knowledge was something that I was unfamiliar with, and I just learned just now. My bad, bro. You're right. I should have literally known everything that has ever happened in the history of the United States across the board, always. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is that, yeah, it's so dumb. First of all, if this was like common fucking knowledge, Republicans wouldn't literally consistently use like precedent from 1878, like, or some shit like that. No, they literally are looking for something to justify their ridiculous worldview half the time. And in this instance, Democrats can do it as well, because apparently there is precedent for it, just not for the president. But it doesn't fucking matter ultimately, okay? It does not fucking matter, because it is absolutely constitutional. You can absolutely fucking use the impeachment proceedings against someone who is no longer in office. It's so dumb. Otherwise, there wouldn't be additional power on top of impeachment beyond like removing someone from their seat. Okay? Impeachment doesn't just mean removing someone from their seat. There is additional powers that go beyond that. For example, not being able to run again for office. If Donald Trump is convicted, now he will not be able to run for office again. That is part of the reason why these Democrats, I think, want to impeach him. But the biggest reason why Democrats want to impeach him is because they want to fucking enforce accountability. So it's idiotic to go against that, especially when a week prior, you as a Republican were literally stating that you think Donald Trump should be held accountable.
Mr. Booker. Mr. Bozeman. Mr. Braun. Mr. Brown. Mr. Burr. Ms. Cantwell. Mrs. Capito. Mr. Cardin. Mr. Carper. Mr. Casey. Mr. Cassidy. Ms. Collins.
Anyway,
Coons.
yeah, I'm going to mute the roll call. Obviously, it's fucking, who cares? But as I was saying, the reason why they're doing this is because they want to make sure that this is on the fucking record, okay? I think it's actually a good precedent to be able to impeach presidents after they are in office. I like that. Impeach them all, motherfucker. Put it on the record. I dream of a future where every single fucking previous American president is impeached way, way, way after their presidency as in an effort to make America understand the crimes that they committed. So I find it so stupid that people are like, oh, this is bullshit. It's bullshit because, yes, it is a largely political trial, and Donald Trump is no longer in office. So it's easy to just say, it's easy to point the finger at it and say, this is so dumb. Why are they doing this? Well, they're doing it because it's fucking unacceptable. Enough is enough. There needs to be a fucking measure for accountability. Okay? Bush wasn't as bad as Trump, though. No, of course Bush was. No, Bush was worse than Donald Trump still. Sorry. Pound for pound, as far as like the amount of human suffering that George W. Bush's administration caused is significantly worse than Donald Trump's. I'm sorry. We are literally still in numerous wars in the Middle East as a consequence of the George W. Bush administration. Just because you were not aware or just because you don't care, 400,000 Americans dead. I know. I understand. Again, Bush's wars are still going on, folks. You can say worst take ever all you fucking want, bitch. Doesn't matter. No, liberals love saying Trump is worse than Bush because liberals love whitewashing old administrations because the new one is worse. Like, people be like, abolish ICE, and then turn around and say Trump is worse than George W. Bush. Bitch, who created ICE? The Patriot Act. ICE, Department of Homeland Security. Trillions of dollars spent on the war on terror. Millions of people in the Middle East dead. Even more millions destabilized, pushed away from their homes. Countries damaged to the point of no amount of repair could fix their infrastructure. Katrina domestically. Like, George W. Bush was a fucking horrible, horrible administration, dude. Millions, tens of millions displaced, millions dead. There is no way that calculation works. Yeah, destabilize the housing market. Bush played a significant role in that. I mean, you could definitely point the finger on Democrats on that one as well. Anyway. So, the George W. Bush administration, the Dick Cheney administration, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Yes, Dick Cheney had more power or more authority over that administration, but who gives a fuck? It's still George W. Bush's administration. He was the president. McConnell votes not to table the motion to proceed, siding with Rand Paul. But funny old man hugged Michelle Obama. Yeah. Reagan and Clinton were much worse for the 2007-2008 crisis than W. They were the ones who set the wheels in motion. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Okay. So, can we just do like corporate media does on both sides of this debate, i.e. Bush is worse, but Trump is really bad, so they're both the worst? I mean, they're both fucking horrible. They are. Donald Trump, George W. Bush, and Ronald Reagan are historically bad presidents for the United States. Like, some of the fucking worst. They're definitely the worst in contemporary American history. So they are straight the fuck up like some of the most damaging presidents that we have ever seen. Bill Clinton was fucking horrible too. Barack Obama wasn't good either. But they do not touch. Well, maybe Bill Clinton does. But, like, you're saying Nixon, dude, again, Nixon was bad as well. But, like, Ronald Reagan and his actions have caused so much economic inequality. Like, the Reagan administration's actions have absolutely destroyed any chance America ever had at like reaching a honorable and dignifying experience for workers. It's over. It's done. Starving the beast and trickle-down economics is brain cancer that will never go away. They will literally reshape it, reform it, and act like they're not doing that when they know that it's no longer a favorable thing to advocate for, and still continue with those with that mentality. Isn't it great that American presidents are such fucking scumbags? That the argument never is like, who was a good American president? And instead, the argument is like, which American president was like comparable to Hitler more? It's great. It's great that like the way we approach politics is like, who is literally the fucking worst? Who has killed more people? Each president, like fucking Pokemon, have their own unique set of skills. George W. Bush's foreign policy is absolutely worse than both Reagan's, who is a close contender, and Donald Trump. Okay? George W. Bush's foreign policy, his administration's foreign policy across the board. Ronald Reagan's deregulation and tax cuts, so his domestic economic policy, his neoliberal domestic economic policies, absolutely worst out of all of them. Historically bad, okay? And then Donald Trump comes in at the last fucking second with his acceleration towards fascism and his increase of dog whistles adjusted to what is normal at the time, of course, because in comparison to Ronald Reagan, what Donald Trump is saying is like, you know, still worse, but Donald Trump comes in with the acceleration towards fascism and increased dog whistles. So there we have it.
Is there a sufficient second? There is a sufficient second. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin. Mr. Barrasso. Mr. Bennett.
Okay. Okay, where were we? Since Democrats got the majority, can't they pass a bill that will fix minimum wage to inflation? They could with budget reconciliation. I think they could do that. But I mean, this minimum wage increase is not going to be a bipartisan bill either. I think that's going to be a budget reconciliation bill as well. So I wanted to talk about something else here. I want to talk about Mitch McConnell. McConnell relents in Senate filibuster fight. Here is why. Because yesterday McConnell decided, you know, all right, it's done. We're not going to hold up the. This trial,
though, is within the Senate's constitutional authority. The impeachment power
what is happening?
Is designed.
Yesterday, Mitch McConnell relented on his demand that Democrats promise they won't ditch the filibuster in a power-sharing agreement in a 50-50 Senate. And the reason why he did it, of course, is because Democrats don't have the votes. Democrats simply do not have the votes to push for a filibuster. Or to pass a way to abolish the filibuster. Okay, so that's why he was only acting like this was a big deal for him, just to hold up the proceedings as best as he could, to make it seem like he's putting up a fucking fight. It doesn't really matter ultimately. Okay, and he admits as such. McConnell's willing to deal now because he knows Democrats and Republicans, for that matter, lack the votes to eliminate the filibuster. We knew last week it was unlikely that there were ever the votes to get rid of the filibuster, but failing to eliminate the filibuster simply presents Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer with a problem. Left wing of the Democratic Party will come for Schumer when the Senate fails to pass big ticket items important to progressives, ranging from climate change to DC statehood. Schumer could only do that by extinguishing the filibuster, but he lacks the votes to do so. The converse is true for McConnell. He has the power in a 50-50 Senate, but none of the responsibility. With question, McConnell may emerge as the most powerful minority leader in Senate history. Budget reconciliation. You're going to hear a lot about that over the next couple of weeks. Schumer and liberals may not be able to advance much of their legislative agenda due to filibusters, but they still have one annual option to advance certain legislation with fiscal impacts. It's called budget reconciliation. It's the same gambit Democrats used in 2010 to pass the final version of Obamacare when they lacked the votes to overcome a filibuster. Republicans also use the same tactic to repeal and replace Obamacare, but could never come up with enough votes. Yeah. I wonder why. Why can't they nuke the filibuster? Because there's not enough Republican votes. There might not even be enough Democratic votes. Plus, you still need Republican votes to overcome the filibuster. The overcoming the filibuster is the same level of majority votes that you need to also abolish the filibuster. So you won't be able to do that. Wait, they only need 50 to nuke it? I thought it was, no, you need 60 votes. You're wrong. Oh, I thought you needed, oh, I didn't realize that you needed 51. Okay, well, I was wrong. My bad. Damn, I'm swinging and missing all day today. Rule vote's always 50. Can't filibuster a filibuster? Yes, you can, by the way. You can literally filibuster you can filibuster, or at least McConnell was like kind of doing that to even start the conversation around Senate rules. Majority leader overrules the chair decision by simple majority. Anyway, let's watch Chuck Schumer on Rachel Maddow, because he had a bunch of takes. I want to hear what he had to say. I didn't watch this yet, but I want to see it.
Filibuster. There is definitely a diversity of opinion within your caucus on that. Senator Sinema, Senator Manchin have, for example, expressed reservations about getting rid of that. But lots of other senators and lots of people who are strong stakeholders within the Democratic Party say that there's too much to get done right now to let that get in the way. And there's no reason to expect that any Republicans in any significant numbers, let alone 10 of them, will cross the line on anything. Where do you stand?
The caucus is united with the belief that I have. We must get big, strong, bold things done. That's a bottom line. If we don't, I worry about the future of this democracy. If people continue to be disillusioned that this government can't do a thing to make their lives better at a time when so many are angry, so many are sour, so many think they don't have a chance to get ahead, I worry about the future. So we have to get things done. That's point one. Point two, we will not let Mitch McConnell dictate to us what we will do and not do, period. And these first 5 days have shown that. And as I said, my caucus is totally united from one end to the other that we're not letting him go forward. Our hope is, now we have tools that we can use. Reconciliation, we can get a lot of the COVID bill done with reconciliation. And that's something we certainly will use if they try to block this immediate COVID bill. We can even use reconciliation for...
If I'm a Republican, what I do is act like I'm going to come up with a bipartisan compromise, constantly cry about how divisive the Democrats are being, hold up the impeachment trials as best as possible by saying this is unconstitutional. Why are we even doing this? Democrats don't care about the American people. Like, literally be in a holding obstruction pattern for the next 2 years until the midterm elections, and then fucking eviscerate the Democrats in the midterm elections, okay? Eviscerate them. And that's precisely what they're going to do. They're going to hold everything back. They're going to say, oh my God, we want to deal with them, but look, they don't want to deal with us. They don't want to deal with us. And then force them to go with the budget reconciliation route regardless, okay? Force Democrats to go with the budget reconciliation route regardless, kind of like Obamacare in 2010, literally by first diluting the bills, making sure that the final form of that bill is literally just fundamentally something different, okay? Filled with fucking pork and totally neutered across the board, and then turn around and still not vote for it, so that you have to literally fucking push for the budget reconciliation. But originally, the bill you had was much stronger, and it could have been passed through the same fucking proceedings regardless. But now you have a neutered bill full of idiotic poison pills and fucking bullshit pork spending and just a neutered bill overall. And now you're passing that with a budget reconciliation. You've already lost a shitload of political capital because everybody hates gridlock. Everyone fucking hates gridlock. And then, boom, you lose all that political capital for passing a worse bill overall. Okay? A nerfed-ass bill gets passed with budget reconciliation, and ultimately everybody hates the Democrats.
A much broader proposal, Biden's Build It Back Better, which obviously would be modified and changed. So we have some tools we can use right now and will not hesitate to use them if Republicans continue to just block. As for other issues, what we're going to do is we are united in the view we need to bring change. We are united in the view McConnell is not going to dictate what this Senate does.
Shush. Oh my God. Chuck Schumer's a political beast. He's not Harry Reid. He will just nuke the bird rule or have the Senate parliamentarian president ignore any bird objections. You doomers are so useless. Ugh. Are you fucking brain dead? Chuck Schumer's literally worse than Harry Reid. God. What kind of, like, the new neoliberals are so fucking stupid. Like, Chuck Schumer is a political beast. Are you out of your fucking mind, dude? At least, like, if you stand Nancy Pelosi, I kind of understand where you're coming from because, like, she at least is good at whipping her fucking caucuses. This motherfucker has no power, dude. He can't even get his whip Dick Durbin to fucking come to terms with his policy agenda. What the fuck are you talking about? Chuck Schumer is a beast, bro. I'm soy facing so hard for Chuck Schumer right now. Oh. No, he sucks ass.
And we will come together as a caucus and figure it out. But I can assure you, we will bring real change here, real dramatic change. We have no choice.
You need 60 to formally change Senate rules, so you're partially correct, but only 51 to do the nuke option, which just sets a precedent on no filibuster for specific things like judges. They could do this for statehood. Yeah. I wonder how many Matt Iglesias articles that guy has retweeted. So many, bro. There's another Schumer clip. Let's watch.
When President Obama was first elected and there was a number of there were a number of big legislative lifts on the table, I feel like as an observer of that process, as somebody reporting on that process, I learned a lesson.
I got to peel.
Yes.
I watched with Obamacare, with the Affordable Care Act, the Republican.
No, you didn't. None of you did. Your entire goal is to literally fucking do the surprise Pikachu face when Democrats talk a big game and then demonstrate that they did not learn those lessons at all. That is literally all mainstream media does, is, that's crazy. I thought that we could work with the Republicans this time. Surprise Pikachu face.
Republicans insisted that there not be any single payer option, there not be a public option,
Right.
had to be based around the private insurance companies. And they insisted on all these changes that were made for them, and then they didn't vote for it anyway.
Right.
And on the immigration bill, they insisted that their priority, deportations, all that be done up front. President Obama did all that up front, and then they still didn't vote for it. We saw it on the Recovery Act as well. They insisted that the Recovery Act be made smaller and significantly less effective, and then they didn't vote for it anyway.
10 years it took to get, because it wasn't deep enough and strong enough. 10 years. We're not going to make that mistake with COVID.
But isn't the lesson there that it's not worth trying to get bipartisan legislation because it will weaken it and make it worse, and they're never going to vote for it anyway?
Our North Star has to be the legislation itself. It has to be big and bold and strong. If Republicans work with us to get good, strong legislation, yes. But I agree with you. I've made these arguments in numerous places. Look at 2008, where we spent a year and a half trying to get something good done, ACA, Obamacare, and we didn't do all the other things that had to be done. We will not repeat that mistake. We will not repeat that mistake. You are right. I think of just what you think all along. And it's a different time. I mean, we've had the most authoritarian president around. Look how close he came on that awful day, January 6th. And the antidote is constructive, strong action by us, by the government. That's the answer, so that when the appeals to bigotry and nastiness and divisiveness are thrown at the American people again, which Trump did, and there are many of his minions who want to do it, people will say, no, we're making good progress. Let's stick with this. But if we don't make progress, bad, bad, bad. We can have really bad solutions, really bad outcomes, rather.
I think Rachel Maddow watches your stream, bro. She literally just said the same shit you did. No, they're saying all this, but it doesn't mean anything. I'm sorry. They're not. They have to act like Republicans are normal, okay? That is the primary function of the Republican Party or the Democratic Party is to literally fucking act like the Republican Party are normal when they're not. And the primary function of the media is to normalize the back and forth going on between these two parties. It doesn't matter. What she's saying right now is nowhere near as important as what she will say a year down the line when they're fucking still compromise prone. Okay? Unfollowed you everywhere. Ugh, he literally just said the exact same thing you did. You're just another Jimmy Dore, huh? Okay, dude. Here. Oh, fuck. Can one of the mods get this? I can't. Not on this one. I have other Chatterino is the one where I can ban people. I just don't want to look through it. You can permanently ban them. Fucking idiot. You're just another Jimmy Dore, huh? Okay. Messaging is good so far. Surprisingly good, I will admit. We shall see where this goes. What matters not is what they say currently. What matters is going to be what they end up saying when they go through the same fucking motions over and over again. Damn, he wrecked you considering you banned him, lol. Okay, I'm just gonna fucking swap out my... Hold on one second. Okay, first of all... secondly... No, I banned him because he is a nuisance. He is an annoying... fart-smelling fucking liberal nuisance in the chat that I don't want to fucking consistently get trolled by over and over again and derail the conversation. And so are you, which is why you got banned as well. There you go. Sorry. Just be less fucking annoying. Biden banned private prisons. Is this a good move for the left or a hollow victory? It is a hollow victory. Two reasons. One, because of the tiny fraction of private prisons that are federal prisons. Okay. And two, because it does not cover ICE facilities, which is a big chunk of where the private prison industry is making their money currently. So you have county jails and shit that are still private. Okay. The only power that you have over private prisons, the only power that the federal government has over private prisons is federal prisons and also ICE facilities. So if you don't ban ICE facilities as well, it's still a minuscule victory is what I'm trying to say. Way to take control, classic Pinko. Okay. I realize that I haven't really banned a lot of people in a while, and I spend a lot of time, answering people as though they're being serious and stuff, and I think I should probably ban more people. So I'm gonna do that now again. It's been a minute. Yeah, just gotta throw out the trash a little bit today. People think that they can fucking talk shit. Anyway. Yeah, it's 1987, George Orwell. It's George Orwell Redenbacher. Goddamn commie. They can still watch if banned? Oh, yeah, absolutely. You just won't be able to fucking have your idiotic, moronic takes in the chat. Unless you make a fucking sock, in which I'll ban you again. Yeah, this is cancel culture, man. All right, anyway. Not gonna lie, Biden's executive orders have been good. Yes, they have been. They have been very good. So far, so good. I joke around, but it's not the end all be all. Obviously, the way that this works is the legislative agenda is, of course, going to be far more significant, far more important, and far more and long lasting than the executive orders signed into law by Joe Biden. Not signed into law, but the executive orders that he signs that can immediately be overturned by the incoming Republican administration. So it is, what is more important is how those executive orders turn around and guide the Republican or Democratic Party's legislative agenda. Out of all the ones he signed, I would like to see him repeal. I would like to see him abolish more student debt or any student debt at all. So that's definitely one area, one remaining area that he could be doing more in, and he hasn't yet. But that dude wasn't giving a brain dead take. He was just saying that they were literally saying the same shit as you. Sometimes you just can't take criticism, man. First of all, no, I banned him not just for that one take, but for numerous takes leading up to that. And he literally said, "You're just as bad as Jimmy Dore." I should go back and actually ban you permanently for how fucking moronic you are, that you couldn't even fucking comprehend whether or not he was saying just whether he was making like simple criticism. You know what? I'm going to ban you permanently as well. I don't give a fuck how many months you've been subscribed to me for. Suck my dick. Anyway, get fucked. $50,000 forgiveness is in the works? No. No. We'll see what happens. Imagine if you had an ego like you, lol. That's just a one day because you're probably a delusional juicer. But, you know, maybe one day off will restore some sanity in the remaining functioning part of your fucking brain, dumbass. Cleansing the chat of idiotic takes sometimes is good for the content overall because I get derailed too easily. And I don't want to get derailed. I want to have a productive back and forth conversation with the chat. And sometimes when you want to have a productive conversation with the chat, you got to ban some people. You know, restore some order in the chat. That's what this is.
Rejuvenation are quite in vogue right now in the wake of President Trump's
Keeler calls out Dr. Birx's post-Trump reputation rehab tour. I don't care about this. This is not interesting to me. Teen son speaks out after telling FBI about father involved, how the U.S. stole Iraq. Former FBI agent breakdown interrogation techniques. Damn, no. These are kind of mid today, Popcorn Boy. Yeah, we got the QAnon 101 video that I will be watching. We already did the Biden remarks, executive orders. We talked about McConnell. What else is there to talk about today? You don't need 60 to change Senate rules. The move is called nuclear option because it only requires a simple majority, and therefore invoking it is seen as a last resort because it can be used against the majority if the Senate flips. Usually it would take 2/3 to change Senate rules, but the majority leader can overturn the vote by a simple majority. But you can do it for specific votes, I thought. Like judges. And then you can expand on it if you want and move it from lower court appointments to lower court appointment confirmations to like the Supreme Court appointment confirmation. That's by saying it's precedent. Something added to the Biden schedule. The White House has added presidential remarks on the pandemic this afternoon at 4:45. So that's actually one thing I wanted to talk about more a little bit today. The thing that is deeply disturbing to me, the thing that is like deeply disturbing to me so far, and I'm experiencing this in California, is how fucking horrible the California COVID response has been. The California COVID response has been disastrous. Our ICU capacity is at, it's completely maxed out. There are no vacancies left, okay, in so many different counties. Each county, of course, has a different way of dealing with COVID. The vaccine distribution has been a massive problem as well. I wanted to show you a video. It's a like fucking funny meme video, but it is literally how, this is exactly how it feels like to be in California and try to comprehend what the state is doing in an effort to, engage in COVID recovery. Here, let's watch this real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, Los Angeles has become the epicenter of this horrible disease. But if we work together with my new plan, we can make sure it doesn't get worse. So that's why I'm calling on you to stay home if you want to. It's good if you stay home, but you should go out. But you should support local businesses, but safely at home unless you want to go. And if you go to the mall, don't. But you can, but you shouldn't, but you won't. But if you work at the mall, go there. It's open. You're still in business, but no one's there because they should stay at home because they're here. They're staying and they're out. And if you're out, go home. But if you're here, wear a mask when you're out, but don't go out. Stay inside. There's parking tickets now. Move your car because the street's sweeping, but you shouldn't be on the streets because you're at home if you want to, and restaurants are closed, but you can't go to them, but you should stay inside, but go out. Thanks for doing your part.
This is literally exactly what the COVID restrictions are. Like, he might as well have just opened up the latest, not the lift on the restrictions, but the latest, like a month ago or 2 months ago, the latest like lockdown, not lockdown, but stay-at-home orders. Literally read like this, where it was like, you need to stay at home. It's literally illegal for you to be in county and traveling from one place to another. But also at the same time, like, you can go to nail salons. And it is so fucking psychotic. I don't understand. Like, and no one understood back then, and no one still understands. And now we have lifted those restrictions, apparently. As though we are over the hump. And it is so fucked up. It sounds like everywhere, because I think that a lot of Western nations are too pussy to take actions that are deemed authoritarian. Okay? And because of that, they have to still take like authoritarian actions, but then simultaneously turn around and be like, but you can also go out and do stuff. Come on, we need to support small businesses. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what? Just fucking tell us if we can go out or not, okay? Like, this half measure shit is worse overall than just like full complete open or full complete shutdown. It's so dumb. It's so insanely dumb. So now, Gavin Newsom lifted the restrictions, the stay-at-home order restrictions, yesterday. We don't even know who the fuck was following those restrictions to begin with. But let's say some people were following it like me, a bunch of suckers, I guess, who were stupid enough to be afraid. Gavin Newsom himself was not following those fucking restrictions, by the way. Literally, after he implemented those stay-at-home measures that were already confusing to begin with, he then was caught on camera hanging out with fucking friends at like a winery, okay? Having a goddamn dinner party, like an indoors dinner party. Yeah, caught in motherfucking 4K, dude. And this is where we're at. Like, this is where we're at. I don't know. And the same problem exists with vaccine delivery and distribution as well. Okay? Who the fuck is supposed to be able to get vaccines? Like, I feel like the first phase vaccine distribution in places like California and New York have been so narrow on just healthcare workers themselves, some of which don't even want to fucking take the vaccine to begin with, that no one's getting it. I feel like who the fuck is able to get the vaccine? Just healthcare. Like, I have old people in my family that I need to vaccinate. I need them to get the vaccine. My grandparents are both over the age of 65. 65 plus is supposed to be first phase. Okay, if you're 65 plus, then you're supposed to be able to get the vaccine in the state of California. Some places say you can. Some places say you can't. And I haven't been able to get them vaccinated because I don't know where to do it. We can't fucking figure it out. $65 plus is phase 1B here in New Jersey, which is what's going on currently. Yeah, we're still at 1A. When is it your turn to get the COVID vaccine? CA launches notification website. California launched a new pilot website for residents to find out. The site is called My Turn. Lets users schedule vaccination appointments as well as register to be notified via text or email when they become eligible. I think the reason why they're so restrictive with who gets the vaccine is partially because of logistics, because they don't think that there is enough to vaccinate as many people as possible. In some places, 65 plus is 1A. In other places, 65 plus is not 1A. I'm glad you're not in charge of my care, lol. Yeah, as though these motherfuckers are doing a better job with your care. Good luck when your grandparents get fucking annihilated, dipshit. I personally think Newsom is going to get fucking annihilated. There's like 8 different recall Newsom movements happening in California. Everybody hates him. The last time he was popular was back in September. Since then, his popularity has definitely decreased. And they're doing a fucking horrible job. They're doing a horrible fucking job. Just because the CDC federal government doesn't have the power to make governors obey, so 50 states do 50 different things and buck the CDC. I find it... Wait, what? Fuck? Uh-oh. That was weird. My main monitor turned off and on. It's more than 50 because different counties operate differently. Yeah, I know. And now there's like a bunch of fucking rando billionaires and shit that are running against Gavin Newsom. They're gonna turn this into like the Randian Randian fucking techno ANCAP utopia that they want to turn it into. And that unpopularity that Gavin Newsom has is only going to allow California to have an even worse fucking governor than Gavin Newsom. Okay? Yeah, can't wait for California to be ANCAPistan. That's why federal guidelines and distribution is so important. Right now, states are just making shit up with no guidance, and now we have another strand from Brazil. Hawaii did healthcare workers and old people with conditions. Now it's essential workers and anyone over 65, period. Ours is the federal recommendation. The California one is supposed to be the federal recommendation as well, but I think their distribution has been fucking awful. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. It's very confusing, and it's very frustrating that it's so difficult to fucking figure out how to do it. Get it at Dodger Stadium? No. You have to literally fucking go and, first of all, you have to go and, you can't just like roll up to Dodger Stadium and be like, hey, I'm here for my vaccine. Like, is that what you want me to do? You want me to get my grandparents in a fucking car, make them leave the apartment the first time in like years, in the past 2 years, and make them sit in the car for 3.5 hours in fucking traffic and shit at Dodger Stadium only for them to turn back home and go home without any fucking vaccine because they're like, well, you didn't actually sign up for it, so you can't get one. That seems like a good idea, dude. Thanks. There are literal lines of people out in LA outside of vaccination clinics getting extra vaccine that isn't used, and these people are not priority groups. So many people are already doing the Dodger Stadium thing you just mentioned, which is insane. Yeah, I just want my grandparents and my mom to get vaccinated. Okay, that's it. I want my grandparents and my mom to get vaccinated. I don't care if I fucking die after that, all right? Like, if I get COVID and die, then GG's, all right? I have COVID in my country. I can get arrested if I leave my house. Literally yesterday, the Ministry of Health of my country called me to give me instructions, tell me not to leave my house. I'm from Costa Rica. Yeah. Best bet is probably to sign your grandparents and mom up in that app since it's only piloting in LA and SD County. Best to sign up before they expand to more counties and the system gets more pressured. Yeah, my goal is to send my mom, have my mom take my grandparents so she can get, if there's any extra doses, she can get one as well. Because a lot of people apparently sign up and don't even get the dosage. So that's what I'm trying to do now. Anyway, what about your dad? My dad's in Turkey, man. Do you even have fines for people not using masks at public places, or is this bullshit believing in the empathy of citizens still going? Yeah, we don't have fines, as far as I know. Okay, let's see what Joe Rogan had to say about Wuhan.
The Joe Rogan experience.
It's weird, man. It's like, I wonder what's going on. I wonder if like there's a thing that happens to a virus when it goes through a number of hosts, that it sort of dies off, that it becomes weaker, you know, and that's part of herd immunity. Part of herd immunity is a bunch of people develop antibodies for it, and also like the Spanish flu. Like the Spanish flu kind of just died off. And there's a thing about Fauci the other day. He said the virus plateaued. The problem is, like, you don't know with these motherfuckers how much of what they tell you is political. Like, how much did they not tell us while Trump was in office? And how much are they telling us now? You know, like in terms of what's safe and what's not safe, opening businesses, what you can do for your health. Like, it's weird. It's such a fucking weird time.
I guess the UK has a new version that's more deadly, not more contagious, but more deadly.
Another new one?
Yeah, it just came out yesterday or today.
It's like fucking mixtapes.
I know.
Oh God. Yeah.
And China's wide open. You know?
Is it?
Yeah, or where it started. I saw this whole thing where they're just like nightclubs are all open. Everyone's like going crazy.
I don't know about that.
Motherfucking water parks are open. Oh, you don't know about that? Yeah, dude.